All right, so we are live, episode 3 of the Eastside Firemen's Chat. I got with me Bob Wasik from City of Washington. Bob, how you doing?
All right, how are you, Steve?
Good, man. How's it been? How's life?
Good. It's been, it's been a while since we got to connect.
It has been, yeah. So we met, I don't know what year that was, but Fools Hockey.
It's going back some years, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's trying to remember when the Fools hockey actually started. It's probably mid 2000s, somewhere around there, you know.
yeah, because it was before. Yeah, it would have been like 2008, 2009, maybe. I don't know. Well, cool, man. How are things in Washington?
Good. No complaints. You know, it's I'm entering my 19th year there.
I can't believe that. Yeah.
Getting closer to retirement here, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're 40.
yeah, just turned 40 here in March.
Nice.
So
You got a year on me. I'm 39. So how old were you when you got hired then? You were
I
pretty
was
young.
21.
Yeah.
21 when I got hired. Yeah, I was just one of the luckiest guys in Western Pennsylvania at the point in time. And
Yeah.
you know, took the test on a whim. Said he wasn't even hiring, and next thing I know, there's like a group of 8 of us that got hired in the first year.
Nice.
At the
So what got you into it originally? Did you start before there somewhere else? Or?
yeah, I was so my dad was a volunteer in McDonald.
Okay.
So up in Washington County. So he was a volunteer when I was younger. Kind of got out of it for a little bit, but it was always, I mean, the only thing I remember from when I was a kid was wanting to be a fireman. So, you know, it's I can remember the smells of walking into the firehouse as a kid, you know. So I was 14. I got to come in as a junior member. I was almost 15 at the time, and so that was, I think it was 2000. So kind of when I started, you know, and got lucky. I had a great leadership there, great fire department, and you know, gave me the passion for the fire service. I said, I've said it before that the fire service gave me everything I have. That's how I met my wife. That's how I got my kids, got my job. Like, it's the greatest thing if you put the right foot forward, if you have the right mindset.
Yeah. And is your brother older or younger than you?
Younger. Yeah, he's 5 years younger than me. Yeah. Yeah, and he's been at Washington. He got hired probably 3 years ago, something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool, too. You know, my brother.
Carry on the tradition.
Yeah, brother coming, put it on, yeah. I said he's still a little more active in McDonald. I'm still, I guess, a member there. I haven't been, I don't, with kids and wives and work schedules, I really don't have the time to make it back out there anymore. But, you know, that place is near and dear to my heart for sure. You know, it's, like I said, it's what set me up for success in life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been.
So you were, we were talking earlier and you're like, it's the first time on a podcast, but you listen to a lot. You got any
big
fire podcasts you listen to?
Yeah, the Corley Moore's podcast, you know. I'm a vigilante. I know work with Chief Gavita. He's a big guy into that. Yeah, that Jocko. You know, it's kind of like my main two. But really, any other firehouse podcast I'm into. You know, fire engineering's got some good things out there. You know, kind of got to sort through them sometimes. But yeah, anything that's gonna keep my interest involved. And honestly, it's kind of like this. I like to learn about other people and how they see the fire service. You know, it gives you perspective in life because or at least perspective in the fire service. Too many people only know what they know inside their 4 walls of their fire station. Yeah,
that was kind of one of the goals, man. It was just like, I feel like there's not enough communication between people. So if you listen to this and learn something from it, then hell yeah.
It's like every training class you go to, everybody wants to be with their buddies.
That's what
and I used to be kind of that introvert. Now I'm not an extrovert that will talk to anybody. You know, and honestly, maybe I got older, got more comfortable. You know, once you have kids, it's kind of like your whole life changes, your whole mindset for people changes, I guess, at least for me. And it's great to just meet new people, especially new firefighters. Like, you know, you kind of got to stay up with things. You know, I don't want to be that old guy just stuck in the same way, right? Yep. So talking to the younger kids, see what they are into. I call them kids, but hell, I still feel like I'm 27. You know what I mean? Like.
That's what I always kind of advocate for. You're still an instructor?
Yeah. I try to keep my toes wet. It's busy with the kids.
It's hard. I do that every year. I just got done. Was Mod 4 burn for the Shakog Essentials class last week, and I signed up mostly to try to get those hours.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, that's sometimes the hardest part. I'd love to do it more. It's just my family's got to come first. So that ain't.
No, I agree.
It doesn't pay the bills. Not only it's not even about being paid. I love just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge fan. Like, I like to try to work Monday nights at North Strabane. I work there part-time beside the city of Washington. It's nice because that's when their training night is. So it's nice to just help out. So it gives me that opportunity to
Yeah.
Pass on some knowledge.
Things are good down in Washington?
No,
Kind of talking offline a little bit, but...
No, yeah. Sorry, I could be all over the place.
No,
Washington is, it's great. It's taken a long time to get there as, change takes some time. Takes a lot more time than you expect is probably the worst problem.
Yeah.
But, we've gone through some dynamic changes in my, like I said, I'm just starting my 19th year, and we're on a great path. And like I said, I'm at the tail end of my career. I'm eligible to retire here.
Are they 20?
Yeah, 20 years, and I'm can be out the door. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's created so much anxiety, to be honest with you, like, because this is all I've ever known or ever wanted. I've spent my entire adult life there, almost half my life in Washington, and the fire department's it's a big part of my life. But no, things are good. Like we're moving forward. We're
the training building was cool.
Yeah, it's that's been a pet project here the last month or so, that we finally got we got some boxes stacked, and we're doing our own thing. It's mainly just for daily training. We're not really talking about like burning in it right now. Like, it's just, we needed a place to hone our skills.
Yeah.
There are two things in the fire service, in my opinion, that we should be focusing on, and that is running the calls, running the service calls, and training for them, so that we're good at our jobs. We come from, 5-man minimum staffing. So, we send our new guys that have no experience to recruit academies, and we hire guys from off, to have at least firefighter 2, but we need to be able to verify their skills and hone their skills to the way we operate versus the way we're taught in essentials or at the fire academy. So, it's an idea I pitched to our newest fire chief here a few years ago, just on a whim. Never thought it was going to go anywhere. It was just pipe dream I've been hiding in the back of my brain for a long time. And, he was like, "You're serious about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is a big deal. Like, we don't train enough around here, barely at all, to be honest."
If you don't have a building, it's tough.
You can only do so much good hose line stretching in your firehouse, and now we got a building. It's going to, like the first one we're doing is going to replicate a single family dwelling, and it's our bread and butter. Like, we got to teach guys how to stretch the line properly, how to surge properly, throw ladders, enter windows, all that stuff.
And the nice part is that's right in the city, right?
Yep, so, like, it's right in the city.
You can stay in service.
Yep. And, the goal is to, we have, the city had an abandoned park. So we got 4 acres. That's roughly pretty flat land. It should be 2 ball fields, and they're letting us have at it. So we're starting small, and we'll see where it takes us, man. Let's just, it's everybody asks me about, what's your big plan? I was like, dude, be honest, I'm just being selfish right now. Like, it's for the 22 members of my department. That's, that was the goal, was just to get us to work and train day in and day out.
Yeah.
Hone our skills, get better, serve the community better.
Yeah.
And have fun while we're doing it. It's like, gotta love it, man.
Yeah.
Gotta teach these new guys to love the job.
Cool. Anything new down there in the future, you think? Change is coming, or are you just trying to ride it out? You got a year.
I don't know. It's like I said, I'm at the tail end. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, it creates anxiety thinking about retiring. But no, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. There's a whole slew of us that are going to be eligible to retire here in the next couple of years. So there's a opportunity for a lot of growth in Washington.
For the line of duty death?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd that affect you guys? You were probably younger than it, because that was early 2000s, right?
Yeah, I was. I had like 4 months on the job.
Okay.
And
shit,
Jeremy died. For those that don't know, check out the line of duty, NIOSH from Jeremy Charles Labella, City of Washington. It's I learned a lot from it, and honestly, I think it's one of those things that it changed the way I feel about the fire service. And the way why I take it so serious.
Mm-hmm.
I love to have fun just like anybody else. But when it comes to being, especially on the incident scene or training for it, I'm all business. It's, unfortunately, man, it took me years to be able to like talk about it, because it was something we didn't talk about in Washington. I hate to say it. I look back now as I'm older and more mature. We didn't handle his death properly. We didn't make enough changes internally. We didn't talk about it. It took me a few years to just open up and say, like, "Hey, man, it messed me up a little bit, But But like I said, I think it's what's kept me on the path of being serious about the job. And we have to learn that, unfortunately, we made mistakes when, as a department, that led to a line of duty death. And, that's the worst thing I think you could be a part of. And I don't want to go there again.
Yeah.
So, teaching guys that how serious the job is, that you just can't sit back in a recliner and let this career pass you by because, today could be the day,
Yeah.
And it might not be you, but it could be the guy sitting next to you.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing, but we have grown a lot in the 19 years since his passing. That's going to be it'll be 19 years in February. It's that we've really, especially as the younger guy, we were younger guys, so I call it our 07 clique, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been a big change to solidify the department. We've had great support by the fire chiefs that were doing it, and even the older guys at the time, they were a little resistant, but they understood, I think, deep down why things needed to change. It just couldn't be the way it was, and things are good, and that's all we can do is remember.
Yeah.
Is the big thing. And now I know Brian talked about it. The other side of the coin is again, it's another one that's hard to talk about, is the mental health aspect. We lost a firefighter to suicide last year that greatly affected our department. We lost Mike Scott, was my one of my senior engineers on my shift, and we didn't really see it coming. It's one of those things that and personally, I've had my mental health struggles, and other dudes have finally opened up to their own. It might not be just a job; it could be home, finances, just life stress, man.
You never know what people are going through.
And that's I joke, sometimes now that the firehouse is kind of therapy. You got to come in and complain about your problems, bitch and moan a little bit, get it off your chest, like don't hold it in. But I've often questioned myself that did we, you can only do so much for somebody, but you do everything you can. Like I hold Mike, in such high regards as a person, a father. Like this dude was top notch, and I would have never guessed it. I mean, he went through struggles. We literally talked about it. And he asked me if I ever thought about suicide, and I was like, to be honest with you, man, yeah, it's like crossed my mind, like what would happen. Never like seriously, like, hey, I'm going to take my own life, but you think about how it affects everybody else, and he was like, yeah, man, I couldn't see doing that. And so that's why it really caught me off guard. It's just, you don't even know what your friends are hiding.
Yeah.
So that's why we got to be there for each other. And, I hope,
and just talking about it, like you're just
like this, like open up, man. Yep. We are, we need to kind of open our books as firemen. We're supposed to be these tough guys. We can still be tough and still talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to come at somebody for talking about their mental health struggles. We have to support each other.
Do you follow that Travis Howes guy?
Yeah. He's man, he's got his stuff together, and it's, we have to learn more about it. That's the big thing. That's what I'm trying to, since Mike's death, I've really been trying to learn more about it. What can I do for myself? But also for everybody else, like you said, we're, like I say, I question myself now. What happens when I leave the fire service? Like that creates a lot of stress and anxiety for me because I don't know, it's one of those unknowns, and I have to work through it just like anybody else would. It's the same thing. If a guy's had a bad incident or got, maybe a bad home life or something's going on, like kind of have to open that book to other people,
Yeah.
So we're all here for each other, so. But not to bring the mood down.
Yeah, dude. Let's just.
but again, it's something that's. I think it's important
to bring the mood back up, we were talking earlier when you first got here. I got 3 kids. You got a couple now?
Yeah, I got a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Nice. So we met before kids, and we were young wild bucks.
Yeah.
Now it's like it took us 2 weeks to schedule the time to sit down.
I was gonna say, 20 years ago we were. We just said, hey, let's go to the bar and hang out. Let's after hockey, let's sit down and shoot the shit.
How's that change everything for you?
Oh man, it's night and day. I don't own a motorcycle anymore. I don't have free time. I don't have any money. No, but I wouldn't trade for the world. Uh, beyond the fire service, my family is the most important thing I got going on. Just that I don't teach as much because of family. I don't take overtime as much because of family. Like both my kids are into ice hockey, so I have zero spare time, especially in the evenings.
Or spare money.
Yeah. There's no such thing as spare money now. It's, Dad, I need new skates. I need new this. Or they keep growing and I have no choice but to buy skates.
Yeah.
So there's that struggle. But no, they're the best things to ever happen to me. It kept me grounded in life. They're what drive me insane, but keep me sane at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I say about the mental health aspect. Like kids will, it's very easy for them to frazzle you.
Yeah.
But you just got to bring it all back together,
Yeah, it's good therapy, man. I've learned this. I've noticed after a rough call or something, sometimes the best thing is coming home.
Oh, 100%.
Just having those kids around.
The way my 4-year-old will greet me after, if I do take a shift of overtime, 48 or whatever, and he's just so excited to see me, like, there's, like, that'll melt your heart. It's what fixes you, man. It's like, if I didn't have that, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
I'd probably stay at work, it's like, but no, like, the kids are everything, man. It's fantastic, highly recommend it.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Oh, every cent's worth it.
So bringing the mood back down again, shortly after we met and we became friends, you had a little bout with the C word.
Yeah, cancer. Well, and even with that, I'm totally positive about it. It's an experience that I went through. Again, I think it's one of those things that maybe shaped me as a person too.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was 27. I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The same cancer Mario had.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a fireman out of Cecil that has it right now. He's going. I just talked to him the other day. He's doing pretty well too. Like, it's good thing for me is it's like one of the best cancers you can get. It's one of the most, they call it one of the most curable cancers. Definitely treatable. But man, I was sick for like 6 months, just progressively getting worse. And
you just didn't know what it was.
Nope. I was the healthiest I had ever been. I mean, you remember me back in my early 20s. I was, bigger.
Yeah.
I was close to 400 pounds at one point in time. I lost a ton of weight. I was down into, 230, 240.
Yeah, that was CrossFit Bob time?
Yeah, that was, I was big into, I didn't have kids, so I had a lot of time. Yeah. Got into CrossFit and stuff and just got into, just being better myself. I actually said to myself, man, if I ever have kids, like, I don't want to be the fat dad. Like, so it created a lot of momentum towards that. And I was literally the healthiest I had ever been. And then come January, I don't know, I like started off mild symptoms and it just progressively got worse to the point where I actually didn't get diagnosed until I think it was June 12th, if I remember correctly. So like 6 months, I was just progressively going downhill. And I went off work after a night shift. I worked a shift. We were 24s in Washington. We had a call in the middle of the night. Luckily, it was nothing major, but I could like barely get out of bed. Like I was a mess. And I actually come to find out, that I was so anemic that I was barely able to function. So they put me through some blood transfusions, started to feel a little bit better, and then I started chemo a couple weeks later. Like I had stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And
I mean, how's that hit you? You say 27?
Oh, dude, I was scared shitless when they were like, because they wouldn't say cancer. They just kept like hinting around. I'm like, what the hell does this mean? Like, I didn't know as much about it as I do now.
Yeah.
And cancer, regardless, is scary. Whether you got, I had a buddy that's went through brain cancer here recently. Again, know other people, Hodgkin's, different types of cancers. But knowing in the fire service, knowing what we know now, that we're more susceptible. And the funny thing about Hodgkin's is there's no known cure. So probably has nothing to do with the fire service, but it could. Like, we don't know those things, but we have to be more cognizant, which I think most people are now, that cancer's something we got to look for. The big thing, again, we got to take our ego aside. And when we start having symptoms, get that stuff checked out.
Yeah.
And I'm way better now. I was at the orthopedic this morning. I got a cortisone injection in my knee because my knee was all jacked up last week. I haven't had issues in 8 years with this knee, but I'm 40 now and I'm like, I ain't messing around. Like, I think I'm okay, but I'll go talk to him just in case. Like, and honestly, I wish I would have done that stuff in my 20s, and I've been better since I had the cancer. that, you just got to listen to the doctors, do what they tell you to do, and, they'll get you better. That's, as I said, I went 6 months through chemotherapy and come on the other side, you know, perfect as can be. I'm still got no other health ailments other than this arthritic knee.
Was there? It was pretty early on in the old cancer presumption stuff, but was there any consideration that it was job related or?
Yeah, well, it was literally, I think it was the first year we sat down. The union sat me down with their, the union lawyers, and they basically, the way that whole cancer presumption stuff is, it's pretty hard to prove unless you're one of those guaranteed cancers. Actually, last year I went through my dad actually had colon cancer too, which is one of the ones that's on the. So I went through my scans for that stuff last year too, because that's a hereditary disease, but also being a firefighter and all this other. So everybody's scared of it, but at 39 years old, I went through a colonoscopy. It's really not that bad, but you feel a lot better when you're done. And they're like, yeah, you don't have any cancerous polyps. You're okay. Come back in a few years, get it checked again. 30-year-old me would have fought that and said, I'm fine. I'm not going to do that. But as I get older, you learn that the cancer stuff could pop up anywhere. It's
and unfortunately, dude, I mean, you can probably speak more to it, but I think we're going to see more. It just sucks. Like you were saying, we got a couple people in my department going through some, have had or are currently going through it. Just is what it is, but.
Yeah. And it could, maybe it's because of the firefighting. Maybe it's because of the turnout gear. I read a lot of the, all the literature. I don't buy every ad that they're selling though.
Yeah.
The big thing is we have to take care of ourselves, whether what causes it. It's just like, it's that early detection's the biggest thing,
Do you do any screenings now that you've had it, or is there anything like?
Yeah, I've done been through a couple other cancer screening stuff, but I really just keep up with, I get my PCP physical every year. They do blood work and they know how to keep up on that. And then, unfortunately, Washington doesn't do it. We've been, it's a little, we're still broke city, but North Strabane, I stay part-time there. They put us through, NFPA physicals. So, you get all that other screening there too. So I'm getting a couple of those. I literally have them set up so that they're opposite ends of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So basically every 6 or 7 months, I'm getting something checked out because I want to be on top of it.
Yeah. We had a company come in 2 years ago, I want to say, and they did ultrasounds. They do some of your major organs to try to early detect stuff. We looked into, there's a company out there, there's something called the Gallery test, which is like a blood work one. Again, it's hard to tell you, like you could tell they might be trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And
that's what's tough with the world.
It's also
nowadays.
expensive too. I mean, I know those NFPA physicals that we go through, that's like about $600 a year.
Yeah.
And some of these blood tests are like, if you want to do it every year, it's another $600. It's like,
I think the biggest thing for me was, I pushed off all these symptoms, thinking, just, I start off with like a dry cough, it was wintertime. Like, okay. And next thing I know, I got like acid reflux, on top of it. And then, I was having abdominal pain, and that was actually probably the biggest triggers when I had my spleen was so enlarged. I was having abdominal pain was like the big one, but, I was fatigued, just out of norm, things were out of whack.
Yeah.
And at 27, it didn't raise a red flag. Like it should have.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
Especially like you said, you were in your prime physical condition.
And it was just like, I'm fine. I'm going to work. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't down and out. But, that's the big thing. It's going to be early detection, knowing about it, and that's, and nowadays with the way everything is, I've talked to other dudes, they get cancer diagnoses, and it's like, dude, don't be so afraid. Like, listen to the doctors, do what they tell you to. Their goal is to make you better, get you better on the other side. So, like I said, it's scary when you're young.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's scary when you're old too, but you do what you can.
Yeah. It's good family support through that and everything.
Oh man, it couldn't have been better.
Were you married then?
No. Well, basically was married.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we've been together since, 20 some years now, her late teens. So yeah, she was there for me. I used to tell the doctor, and she probably doesn't even know this, but I used to tell the doctor when we were having her, because he had always asked me, like, did you buy that ring yet? Like, oh, dude, like even now you're on me, not just her mom, not just my mom, now the doctor's on me. It's like, yeah, But no, I couldn't ask for anything better. But yeah, no, family support was great. Community support, dude. The fire service, that was another one. That's why the fire service is so near and dear to my heart. Like, the dudes from Washington, they did like a spaghetti dinner for me, and I didn't want money. I didn't want handouts, man.
Yeah.
There was no GoFundMe back then, but it was just like, that's one thing I didn't realize and that's why I encourage everybody to help people out with cancer. Like, you don't see the unintended consequences of having cancer, where like I got to drive to all these appointments, I got to pay all these co-pays. Lucky for me, I had great sick time at work. Dudes were willing to pick it up, but like, if people are missing time off of work, and then honestly, like, I was 27, I had no energy. So like, I had to order out food,
Cut your
I
grass.
had to do all these little things. Yeah. Like all these little things you don't think about. And, man, the little bit of money that was there, to help me out went a long way. I said, they helped out. I think it was I can't remember. The guys they did that Fireman's Bash. Do you remember they gave me they helped me out there. The guys in Hickory had an event Hickory Fire Department. I worked there part-time in a short period of time, but man, the community like really pulled together and helped me out. And like I said, I'm ever indebted to the fire service. That's why I just said it's been everything to me.
Yeah.
So, I got to give back what I can when
absolutely.
I can.
So retired Bobby Wasik, you think you'd be totally done with the fire service, or not to cause you more anxiety?
Oh man.
You think you'll stay in the fire service in some capacity?
There's no way I'll ever totally be out of it. I think it's been so ingrained into me. Most of the guys at work think I'm never leaving, but at some point in time, it's I'll, again, the family aspect of it.
Yeah.
Let alone financial aspect of just being smart. But no, I mean,
do they have a cap at all? Do they force you out at some age, or
no? I forget.
Close to
it's
that,
like,
but
I mean, like 65
yeah.
or something. Like, I'll be gone well before that. But no, I mean, at the same time, there's part of me that doesn't want to stay too long. I don't want to, wear out my welcome, or
It's tough on your body, man.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Again, I'll be 41 when I'm eligible to retire. It's like I'm not ready for the next career. I don't want to start all over at the bottom, but and also give somebody else the opportunity too. And forces the other guys to step up and move forward. But no, I'm always gonna have my toes in the fire service until the day that I decide that that my body's not going to do it anymore, and then I'll take the sidelines. I still see that for a little bit more. Like, I won't be, if I'm not actively riding fire trucks and going inside burning buildings, I'm not going to be the guy that's teaching people. Like, I'll give you tips and tricks, but let the young guys learn. I actually think it's probably one of the hardest things in the fire service is nobody wants to let go.
Yeah.
And I've seen that too much. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I want to be that guy that sets an example and lets go at some point in time. I can always be there as a reference document or a phone call away if you need help.
Yeah.
But like, trying to mentor people to step up and, get out of their comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough, to instill confidence in other people. But
yeah,
I think it's part of as I say, and I think at 40, we really are the older part of the fire service.
It's a weird thing to think about.
I didn't realize until I, got closer to 40 that it's definitely a young man's game.
Yeah.
And they need good leadership ahead of it. And in our small departments, that's where it becomes even more imperative, that, I'm not chasing through 3 cylinders anymore. It's, my body will hate me for, a week after it. But, I'm going to get in there and get dirty with the boys too. But, you work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
But let them do their work, get their experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't have too much else. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. The fire service is, I don't know. It's a great thing. That's what I said. I could talk all day about it.
Yeah.
I can go that way, go kids.
You, were you an adjunct at the State Fire Academy?
No, I've taken some classes up there, but nothing.
We had a bunch of guys up there. We just, we rented it for the weekend.
I did see that on Facebook.
Mutual aid training up there. So
awesome.
It's cool just to get out of town. I mean, I always advocate for up there. I mean, you could argue back and forth about the curriculum up there, whether the classes are worth it or not. But in my opinion, it's more like what we talked about earlier, the networking, like training with people from outside of your area. We get super comfortable training with the people from our mutual aid departments that we see on a regular basis. But when you go to Lewistown and all of a sudden you're put on a team with somebody from Bucks County or something, it's like, you might hate their hockey team, but like they might have some like cool shit to tell you, or
tremendously.
teach you.
We have to, as firefighters, we have to get out of our comfort zone to do that. I mean, I'm big into training. I love going to training. I love helping people. I'm not, I don't have, my name in lights, but I like to help people out.
Have you been to the Fire Department Training Network?
Oh, yeah. I'm wearing FDTN shirt. Yeah.
That's been some of my bucket list to try to get out there when they book up so fast. You got to be on.
Well, I was going to say, if I'm going to plug anybody in these whole things, like FDTN is kind of, I've been following Jim McCormack's, brand there for a while. I get there that month. If you don't spend money on it, spend $60 or whatever it is on that.
Yeah.
Get that magazine subscription. I got to convince the chief. We got him coming to the fire department.
Mm.
They bring drills. Like it's cheap and it's so worthwhile. And it's down and dirty. There's no ads in that magazine. It is like, it's from Firemen.
Yeah.
There's, again, it's not Jim runs a great show out there. Been there a couple times. Actually, with I've always had that Disneyland fantasy of going there, and it really is Disneyland for firemen. But I got to go for the Connex box building class 2 years ago, which is what started the whole thing in Washington. So we're following his methodology to build out our facilities. And then last year, myself and one of the guys at work, I convinced the chief that I wanted to go to training there. I mean, the chief we got, Chief Richer, is fantastic for getting guys to training. Highly encourages it. Finds a way to fit it in a budget. And the outside training is a huge thing because you have to be exposed to things you don't know. That's how you're going to learn. If you only do things, in your bubble, how do you know? Every fire department, it's the same circus, different clowns.
Yep.
But those clowns might have a better way to do it than you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, going to FTTN was great. We went for the live fire camp last year, which is a rotation for over 3 days with 6 skill stations, all under live fire. And it was hands down all the training I've been, the thousands of hours of training I've attended in the Eastern Seaboard was the best stuff I've ever been to. I hate that I waited till I was 40 years old to go. Convince your fire department to send you, and it is worth every penny. I mean, I got paired up in a group with a dude from DC. Like, he paid his own way.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go so bad. DC told him no, and he still, still fronted the money, and it is expensive. It's, but it was great. The April one lined up with FDIC. So then we went to FDIC afterwards, did some training there. It was perfect. It was, my plan is to try to convince the chief to send some more dudes next year and see what it's about. Because you can watch the videos, you can talk to people about it, but actually experiencing that live fire that they do there and how they do the training and the quality of instructors they have there is just unbelievable. It's, I can't say enough good things about it. But the big thing is, like I said, for training is getting outside your comfort zone. I've spent a bunch of times going to, the CFT conferences in Florida. Again, you have FDIC, Harrisburg was doing a lot of good stuff there, but, everybody you see doesn't have to be a big name.
Yeah.
Guys from FDNY are great. I've, met them, talked to them. They do some great stuff, but, learn from the smaller guys too, because they got a lot to give back.
Especially in departments like ours, where
that's it, man.
Dudes that do shit the way we do and show up with 3 people on an engine, and
we get the 3 fires worth of experience when we go to one fire because of how much work we're doing. And task-based units, when you have a truck company and an engine company in these big cities, they're doing really very little work in most instances. And then you get us, we're the truck, we're the engine, we're the rescue.
mm-hmm.
There's no command officer outside because we don't have enough people. You're in there to work.
Yeah.
So that's why training is just so important. That's why I think pulling the daily training to Washington, and having a place to do it's huge.
Yeah. I had to kind of chuckle to myself because we just got a training building recently too. And it was like, if I had to compare and contrast the two, it was like a perfect example of like Mount Lebanon versus Washington.
Oh, yeah.
We're very fortunate. I'm not knocking it whatsoever, but we had to go through like a municipal process and get it all approved. And there was engineering people involved, the municipality, and the funding came through that, which is great. Again, we didn't have to pay for it, but I looked at your post and you guys are out there like digging the footers yourself and doing all of that work. Like that's cool. Like that's to be able to like put your name into it and know that you did that work. And
this going to be a lot of ownership for the city of Washington firefighters. And that's what I said earlier about being a little selfish with it. It's like, we're putting in all the work. We didn't pay somebody to do it. The city couldn't afford it. And we're going to have right around, and this is why I think every department needs to at least look at it. Give me a call. I actually got a buddy that's been messaging me back and forth. He's trying to get their municipality to do it. Sounds like it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, whatever you need, I'm a resource.
Yeah.
Give me a call, shoot me an email. Like, Jim McCormack was huge on, like, I've contacted him a couple times, called him and sent him emails, asking him some stuff. And he wants us to share all his information. The big thing in that class was everybody can have containers out back. All you need is a little bit of property.
Yeah.
You don't need 4 acres like us. We're using a very small portion of it. But we got 5 containers stacked, and we're about very close to being totally done with it. I mean, we got rooms and doors and everything's going to move around, and the big thing is it's not going to be your typical training building where it's set up for high rise stuff and this and that. It's a single family dwelling. It's meant to be our bread and butter, and if we have the funds and the resources and everything else, we can build more. That was probably the biggest thing I took out of the Connex Box building class at FDTN was create purpose-based props. Because when you try to do something that is good at everything, it's never good at anything and just okay, which is better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, but and honestly, for our end, we're going to spend way less money. Like I keep saying, I say $100,000. Give me $100,000, and we'll build our Disneyland, which is like a fifth or a tenth of what some places are spending on these places. And this is where being in a Commonwealth is finally coming to our advantage, to where there's not a lot of hoops and jumps.
Are you close to anything? Like where you're putting it? Is there like residents close by or anything?
Not much. There's a business that's not far from us, but it's, like I said, it's an open ball field.
Yeah.
In a more industrious area in the city. So it's just there were a couple hoops that the fire chief had to jump through to secure the property and all that kind of stuff. But it's been a collaboration for really the entire department, and we have a small committee together. It's been kind of steering it. But our city council and the fire chief are the ones that really made it happen.
Yeah.
And we're just we're the worker bees that are just making it happen.
That's cool, man. I like that a lot. Yeah, we built ours, and it's good. It's great to have a place to do stuff, but unfortunately, we're pretty like, there's people right next to us. There's houses 3 yards behind it, and we've done a couple live fire drills in there, but we have to send out like notifications.
I can imagine it's tough. I mean, I've checked out the building from the outside. I actually on the way home from the ice rink one day, both my kids play hockey, so I snuck over there one day, and my 4-year-old was like, "Oh, it's just like yours. It's just like yours." I was like, "Yeah, buddy, it's just a little different."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was a big thing. I stole ideas from Dragon Containers. I've been to Cranberry a couple times. ACFA, FDSE. That was kind of like my whole goal to showroom. The FDSE was like, look at these props and stuff, and I'm not a great welder, but I can make things stick together.
Yeah.
So like, trying to, like I said, we're Washington's still a struggling city. Just because we have newer fire trucks doesn't mean we have money. That was a collaborative effort again from the fire chief and the.
You just got a new engine. What was that, like 2 years ago? Because it was.
Yeah, we've taken delivery of 2 in the last 3 years. We got super lucky with some timing, super unlucky with the fire trucks that we had.
Yeah.
So they but we got super lucky with timing and money and resources.
You kind of standardized some stuff down there with that now.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
That was we had a committee there, and we made a big push to standardize the fire trucks as much as possible. We're running a rescue engine and a straight engine, or as everybody else will call it a wagon. It's not carrying. We got a combi tool on it, and the big thing was standardizing as much as we could. So the interior of the fire trucks are identical. We tried to keep as much switch locations identical. The big thing for me was our hose loads, cross lays, pump panel, rear. All that stuff is standardized, so that whether you're driving this apparatus or driving the other apparatus, it's the same. Now we still do, between the reserves, things are a little different.
Yeah, it takes time to
moving
some
forward,
of that out.
man.
Yeah.
And it's we made a drastic change going to 4 single stack cross lays, 2 off each side, 200 foot apiece, because everything else was just the standard 2-inch 3/4 and a 2.5. Well, we wanted to make it all more firefighter friendly, so. That's the big thing, is everything's easy to load, easy to deploy, equipment's easy to grab. Yeah, we do. Our rescue engine's got a higher hose bed, but that's what, it's kind of sacrifices you
Compromise,
make.
yeah.
It's, we've learned a lot. So if we ever get to build another one, I hope that it'll probably be beyond my time. But the new guys have learned, hey, let's change this, let's do this. It's a huge process. That was my first fire truck I've ever been involved building, and man, learned a ton.
Yeah,
it's a lot more than just looking on Instagram and seeing all these cool things and saying, "Oh, I want this." Well, there's a lot of engineering that goes into it.
Yeah,
but now our sales guy, Scott Schill from Glick, was fantastic. He helped us out a lot, and their sales vice president Kurt Worth, like they were two top dogs. They were on us. They helped us with our fire trucks and steered us in the right direction too. They helped us out a ton to make sure we got what we wanted, and we couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's just like any other fire truck. We have our little, these sensors are bad. This is that bad. We get stuff fixed, but no one fire truck's going to be totally perfect, right? That's
correct. Yes.
That's probably the biggest fight. Is like when you get to, oh, see, I told you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit happens, man.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's all I got. You got anything else? Any words of wisdom? What's I always ask the other people, you got any good advice? What was your best? Doesn't have to be fire service related. Any?
No, I mean it probably does go back to a little bit of fire service, just life. It's I forget who said it in passing one time. It's like change turns like a ship. And that always stuck with me because it's like you want change to happen tomorrow. But it takes a long time to turn a big ship. So when you're trying to do 180, patience goes a long way. Like I can remember coming out of the fire academy, one of my best friends, who's actually my neighbor too. I remember telling us, dude, at one point in time, you're gonna hate this job. You're gonna want to not come to work. Like you're gonna get frustrated. He was like, there's no way. And I remember him coming to me and he was like, you were right. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, I don't feel like it's sucking the life out of me. And I was like, yeah, man, because change just takes time. When it took me so long to realize that, like, the things you think should be easy to change, especially when it comes to the municipal fire service, it takes a long time. We're lucky. We're, like I said, 22 guys. It changes a lot faster than, like Brian gets to deal with in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It all depends on the politics and stuff, but the more you understand it, the more you actually, hate to say it, embrace it, and you just look, kind of sounds bad, but lower your expectations. That ship's turning, and it's just got to take time. It's what's kept me grounded, for Washington. Like I've wanted things to change a lot, and then there's been times where I go home frustrated, in years past where I'm like, what the hell? Why this is so easy? Why is it so hard? And just realizing it's going to get there.
Yeah.
As long as you keep your feet on the path, you'll get there. So.
Cool, man. I like it. Well, that's a wrap, and we'll catch you next time. Anybody got any suggestions to contact you? If you got questions about training building, reach out to you social media wise.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna put your phone number on here, but
oh hell, you could even do that. It's all you gotta do is Google me. You'll probably find my phone number. But yeah, I'm on Facebook. You can shoot me a message, or I'm sure, like I said, you'll find me. There's enough people know me. Probably got my phone number. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I'm always here. Somebody needs somebody to ask questions about training building. If you're thinking about, Washington should be testing here in 2020, late 25, 26. So
get you old fuckers out of the way. Yeah.
That's it, man. I'm sure the young guys, it's like, I can remember being a young guy going, when are these guys going to leave? I'm sure guys say that about us too. So it's like, but no, like I will I'll pump that a little bit. But yeah, if you got questions about the city of Washington, if you want to work here, we want firemen. So
hell yeah.
That's what we want.
Cool, man. Well, enjoy your day.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Anytime.